talk too much if we're live. Here we go. And we're live. And we're going live on TikTok now. Hey guys, we're back. What is up, everyone? Welcome to season 1, class 4. We've got our commentator, Pinhook Cat, up here in the comments. Pinhook Cat, if you want to talk to me, I can see us in the private chat. So let me know, okay? And say, hey, Pinhook Cat. Wow, right, okay.
Meow.
Hey, everyone. This is episode 4. We've done 3 already. And if you are on TikTok with us right now, that's cool, but you can't see the slides. So just so you know, these are what the slides look like. We're going to go this way and that way. So there's a lot that you can learn. I'm going to keep doing this every now and then. So you should join us on Instagram or YouTube or Facebook or our Patreon. We got a lot going on. But let's dive in since no one wants to be here all day. Make sure that you're asking questions and saying hey to us because it really helps. But here we are. We're going to talk about the confirmation, deals, contracts, and AdMat. This is a booking class. It's like how to book a venue, how to book a show in various places. And we're called the Pinhook. And if you're watching us, you probably know that. But we're a 225 cap venue in downtown Durham, and we are queer owned. And stoked that you're here. So, number 1, there's quite a few things that you need in order to confirm your show. If you're curious about how to write an email or what terms are that we're using, or how to set up your EPK, your electronic press kit, you can see past episodes or what we've done on our Patreon or Substack. But now we're already to the point where we have gotten engaged. We've got some holds, and you're a band that wants to confirm your show. That's so cool. Here we go. What you're going to need to know are the deals or the deal that the venue is agreeing to, like how's your money going to work? That's what you need to know. The ticket prices that you're going to be using, if you're using a promoter, we'll get to it, what your bill is, or when you will have an idea of what your bill is, and what your announce plan is. All this is a lot of information, but it's cool to know before you confirm the show so that you're not backtracking a lot. Because when you confirm the show, it's time to boots on the ground, promote your show. Okay. Here are the truths. This is the first slide that I wanted to use because this is the part that I really don't like about owning a venue or being in a band, is talking about money. A lot of people hate that too. Do you hate that? Holler. Let us know how much you hate that. I want to know how much you hate that. I promise you, on the booking end and on the venue end, we hate that too. Not everyone, but the venues that I love do. But the truth is that money and capitalism in music is terrible, and it's a necessary conversation because it exists. Both artists and venues need money to survive. There's money exchanged, so we should all talk about how we're going to rectify the money situation and be on the same page before the show happens so that we can have a blast. Am I right? If you think so, heart my face. It benefits both venue and artists to mutually support each other. So I'm a big proponent of deals being mutually supportive. And the way we fail, I truly, truly believe, is by turning against each other. And that happens over money all the time. This is not just a venue and band conversation, right? This is a conversation about our families and blah, blah, blah. It's like money and capitalism tear people apart. So transparency is completely necessary. And that's what I think we can do with getting the deal together and confirming the deal with each other so we're both on the same page, and having a contract if it's necessary, and having a settlement sheet at the end of the night. Okay. Slide 1. Before you confirm, you should know if there's a promoter or if you're going to use a promoter. A promoter is somebody, it can be in-house, it can be like in the club, but a lot of times it is someone that's outside of the club. Like we have in Durham, we have in Morgan. It's a great promotion company. In Virginia, or I guess on the East Coast, there's R5. We have Sissy Boy in Durham. We have Party Illegal. They're just amazing teams of people that put on events. No Visa, a Boom Club, also a place, but lots of places that put on events. Generally, if they're promoting your show, they'll probably get a cut. And it's important that before you start talking about the deal, or while you're talking about the deal, that you know what their cut is so that you can sort of budget your show. I hope this isn't a boring conversation for everybody because it is about money, but it is very important. You got a question?
Yeah, Run Rabbit Run asks, is it good to go with a promoter?
Oh, that's a good question. It is good to go with a promoter if you know them and trust them and want some extra lead work on your show. So I think it's great. But I also just think that you should know that they will take a cut of the money. I also think, depending on your relationship with the venue, it's good to go directly with the venue, because the venue can, if they can communicate clearly, and you've noticed that in your communication with them, then why not cut somebody out? Like if you think we're going to promote well on our end and you're going to promote well on your end, you might not need a promoter. So pros and cons, good question, Run Rabbit. Before you figure the deal, you should know what your costs are. Like, what are you trying to make? Are you just like, okay, we'll make whatever we can? That's cool. You can do that. But if you're really trying to budget, you need to know how much money you can make on this tour, whatever you're planning. Those costs are not hidden. You all know what they are. It's gas, hotel, other bands playing the bill, right? Right. Flyers, ads. If anyone has any more costs that I've forgotten, let me know. But gas is high, hotels are high, stay at your friends' houses. Bands that are playing the bill, they should get paid. Am I right? I think I'm right.
Another question for you, Kim. Rebecca Porter asks, can you share some things a promoter should be doing if involved?
Ooh, Rebecca Porter, coming in hot. That is a great, great question. Yeah, I think there's oftentimes promoters that are just promoters for the hype and for the money and not necessarily doing their job. And that can be questionable in many ways. But I think, and type in the comments, Rebecca Porter is an amazing musician that y'all should check out if you haven't, and is promoting the hell out of everything that they're doing. And it's beautiful. So if you have any suggestions or answers too, just please type in the comments. But I think promoters should be accountable for what they have and haven't done, first of all. They should put up reels. They should know the landscape that they're promoting in, first of all. Like, what are they trying to get their show out to? What are they trying to, like, who are they trying to reach, and they should know how to get there. They shouldn't just slap their name on something and be like, okay, we get 10% of your show. Thank you very much. So outreach, definitely. Know all the local press and put up flyers, like actual physical flyers. We're going to cover a lot of this in our promotions. It's like, what is it? Like the road to promo or something. We're going to cover a lot of this in our next class and the class after that, because promotion is a huge topic, but promoters should be doing their job, and their job is promoting your show. Um,
Um,
yep.
Rebecca's got a comment saying some venues take a cut from the door before you get paid for sound and production.
Yeah, we're going to cover, we're going through right now. We're going to probably, we can just skip there. Yeah, deals. So that'll be covered in our deal section or whatever. But there's like all sorts of ways that people get paid, right? And then some people they pay bands after costs. I don't love it, but some places do it.
Uh,
Um,
Also, Chessa Rich asks if you're being hired as a local opener for a touring band, is it in line to ask about the deal breakdown of the whole night? For example, if I'm being paid a flat fee.
yeah, Chessa. Also, have you guys heard of Chessa Rich? And also an amazing musician around town, about town. And I think you know this, and I love the question because I think everyone should know this. You should always talk about money. If someone asks you to play a show, I'm down with. I mean, sometimes that's my like first or second question. It's like, cool, that's so great. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. How much does this pay? Because I think that people are still under the assumption that musicians play shows for free. Do we? No, we don't. Unless we really want to. I'm playing a barn party this Saturday. Pretty sure that's going to be for free. But yeah, I think definitely ask for money. Love when you guys pipe in. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's get through these deals and then we'll take some more questions. But because I want to make sure that this is flowy. But there are so many. This evaded me when I started this club. I had no idea what I was talking about, and I had no idea how people and booking agents did deals and worked deals. Booking agents take another cut of your fees. So a lot of people are self booking their tours now. I think that's awesome. I love it. I just think cutting out the middlemen can be really cool. So you have your percentage deal from $1. That just means that there's a split from the very first dollar that comes through the door at ticket sales. Pinhook does and loves to do a 70-30 split from $1, where the bands and the whole bill get 70% and Pinhook gets 30%. There are other ways to make sure that the venue doesn't take all the band's money. If the band sells out, we'll get to that. But I think percentage deals from $1 are great because who knows what's going to happen. There could be a million other shows, blah, blah, blah. Whatever the outside circumstances are that make people not come can happen and it's nobody's fault. So taking on that risk as a band in a venue, I think super good. That's another part of working together. And also if the show does really well, then you split the benefit. So the pros of that are shared risk. You build venue relationships because in that case, also the venue isn't out like a huge guarantee for your band that nobody came to for whatever reason, comment. And then on a sellout, you can get more money. I think that's a really cool fact. Like if you sell out a 200 cap venue and you get 70% at like a $10 ticket, somebody do the math and tell me about it later. But it's a good amount of money that you probably wouldn't have been guaranteed from the get. The cons are that you get less money if it's not attended well and that the venue is less stressed to promote. I wanted to stick that in there, but I full on think that any venue that gives a shit about artists and their shows are promoting anyway. I don't think stress promotion is a good tactic for your show. Any questions about that? Okay. Percentage deals that actually take a bump. So the percentage deal that we just talked about, great, from $1. And then you can have it so that at a certain amount of tickets, so say it's a 200 cap venue, why, I don't know, but at like 80 tickets, you can go from 70% to 80%. I hope that makes sense. It's just like you've already sold 80 tickets, or say 100 tickets, that's half of the capacity. So venues probably made their money back on their 30%, still going to make a little more. That's awesome. But you deserve to make a higher percentage of that money because you're selling tickets and the venue doesn't need to walk with 30% of your money at sellout. So I love these deals so much. Again, if you have any questions about that, please chat them up because it can get kind of confusing. But I love this deal as a small venue. Why? Because it's a shared risk. It builds the relationships between bands and venue. Bands get more money on sellout, which I think is dope. Like bands need that money. Venues take care of their costs. It's awesome. And then the cons are, sure, you get less if it's not attended. Well, and again, venues aren't stressed to promote, which we hate a stress promo. Let's all remember. So you can also have a guarantee. The guarantee is an amount paid regardless of a turnout. You can have a flat guarantee, like, okay, I want you to pay me $500 for this show. It can include the support or not. The pros of that is that pretty much, and actually definitely, you know exactly how much money you're going to make, regardless of anything. That's awesome if you're on tour. You're like, I'm getting paid $500 a show. I can budget everything out. This is how a lot of support slots, which Chessa, you know this, but this is how a lot of support slots work, where like they'll be like, no matter what, you get $250, $500 a show. The headliner gets everything else. It can be cool because you know how to budget. It can be not cool because you could miss out on money if there's a large turnout, or because you're only getting that $500. And you can damage your venue relationship. If a venue's paid you like $500 and they have to pay you money they didn't make, it sucks for a small venue. It's like paying a really big bill on one night where you don't make any money. And it's like, oh, why did that happen? And then probably won't book you again, or will have more like caution in booking you again. You know what I mean? So those are kind of hard. And Pinhook doesn't do a lot of guarantees. We will, but we have to know the show's gonna sell really well. You can have a guarantee in a versus deal, which is the amount paid unless more people show up, then you get more paid. Basically, what that means is like you get your $500 no matter what, but if like 200 people show up, then it's like $500 versus 70% of the door is what that would look like. And that's really good for bands. You're allowed, you can budget. It helps your budget because you have that block of money you know you're getting. You get the back end if there's a bigger turnout. It's not great for venues because of the guarantee situation. And again, like a guarantee is great for bands and can really suck for venues because it's not a shared risk. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. Then we have Guarantee Plus. Basically, it's the same thing. You get your guarantee, and then everything after the guarantee. So say the show makes $2,000. Your guarantee was $500, so you get that. And then the plus percentage is you get the guarantee plus 70% of the rest. You made $2,000 total. You get $500 guarantee and 70% of $1,500. Which is what's left after your guarantee is taken out. It's one way to do it. Percentage after cost. This is what Rebecca Porter was talking about. Again, if you haven't checked out Rebecca Porter, please do. Amazing. And also going to be in Durham. If you're still watching, Rebecca, let me know. But playing the Duke Arts on East blah da da music series. So you can check out Rebecca Porter. She's amazing. So a deal after costs basically is the amount paid after venue recoups the costs. So it's not very great for artists. And there are pros and cons, and I don't love these pros and cons because basically it's great for the venue gets their costs paid, and the artists get money. The artist could make more of the percentage because the venue's got their costs paid already. So it could be okay for artists, but the artist is assuming most of the risk there. And I don't know. I don't think that's very fair. But some places do it, and it can be good. You just got to know what you're getting into. And then there's the percentage of the bar. Um, Not a lot of places, like pubs, a lot of pubs can do this. It's like, we're not actually going to charge a cover, so you can get a percentage of the bar. If you bring a bunch of drinkers in, you can get a percentage. Fine, but that's fine. I don't want to be so judgy about these deals. But it depends on the crowd, and that can be hard. And also, you could have 150 people there or more, but they just aren't drinking because the pub has shitty beer selection. People don't drink as much anymore. You're having to promote that people need to get drunk or drink unless there's a lot of other selections. It can just be really tricky. So if that's the deal that you're going for, just make sure you know like sort of what the menu is at the place that you're playing, because otherwise you could really get screwed or have to do some kind of promotion that just doesn't really align with your values, possibly. All right. Thanks for listening to the deals. We have some more slides coming up, but Pinhead Cat, were there any more questions while we were doing that?
Yeah, one from Patreon from Caleb P. Rose.
Love Caleb.
Commenting on types of deals, saying there is an unwritten social contract in my experience where if you're a local band opening for or playing with a band on tour, let the touring band take the lion's share or all of the take/cut if you can, because their immediate costs likely outweigh yours.
Caleb for the win. I love that idea. Yeah, it's unwritten. It's totally kind. And I think it's really important that we support local or touring artists. And if you're a local band, yeah, totally. You're like, I'm gonna go home and eat the dinner I made. And the only costs I have are a Thursday night, or like my half of a bar tab or something. So yeah, Caleb, I think you're totally right. And thanks for bringing that up. If you're a local band supporting a touring artist, you don't have to. You might have things that you need to deal with, but honestly, if you don't, like, giving the touring band the cash is a really cool idea. It also builds those relationships, and this tiny ass like community that we have is built on relationships. Like, I don't want to be like that's the currency, because it isn't like measurable in capitalism, but it is important, and people remember you for a long time when you treat each other well, especially in touring bands.
Caleb also shouts out, we love Rebecca Porter, and Rebecca Porter says June 17th.
Hell yeah. All right, Caleb, see you there. June 17th, Rebecca Porter show at Duke's East Campus. It's free. It's going to be freaking amazing. All right. Please comment. Let us know what you think. These are all really helpful. I love this community so much. When you're figuring out your costs also, make sure you're counting support. I think if you're doing a local show, make sure you know what you're going to pay these support bands, and make sure you communicate that, because again, I think about this money situation and the fact that capitalism and music, live music in venues, not everywhere, but in venues, are combined, that you really do need to, like, it happens, and it's necessary for survival, that all we have to do is talk about it and get on the same page. So with local bands or bands on the bill, just making sure that you've discussed money. You're like, okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do this show. We're going to get 30%, 33.333, and you're going to get 33.3. Let everybody know what the money deal is. And then show them the settlement sheet at the end of the night. So cap that before you even have the show, and you'll have a great night.
Rebecca Porter asks, what are your thoughts on asking for food as part of the deal or a dinner buyout? And Azul Zapata seconds the question.
What's up, Azul? These are all great artists that are in the chat right now, or whatever. So check out Azul Zapata and Rebecca Porter, obviously. I forgot the question. Oh, deal buyouts. I think asking for anything that you can ask for or want to ask for is totally fine. Once you ask for things, all venues can say is no. And what does that do? Nothing. It puts you on the same page. Like, maybe they don't want to give a meal buyout. Maybe they have a relationship with a pizza place. Maybe they don't, but like, you'll never know unless you ask. And I think it's a really good question to ask. Certainly in the ballpark of what you should do to take care of yourself on tour. Venue costs are what it takes to put on a show from the venue perspective. We've talked about artist costs, right? Your gas, your merch, even your living costs. Venue costs are something that I think I'd like to be really transparent about as a venue owner. Uh, and if you're on TikTok, by the way, I just want to say my phone's off, but we have slides and they are on Instagram and all these other freaking social platforms. So if you want to see those, head over there. Venue costs there are fixed costs and variable costs, right? So you're like, where is this 30% even going? Like, aren't you making the bar? And it's, yes, but actually we make very little money, period. So we need to make money everywhere we can, just like you do. There are fixed costs, and what fixed costs are rent, utilities, insurance, and what many venues do, and we do this too. Pinhook does this, but we don't transfer these costs over to you. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to be transparent about what it costs to run our show per day. Fixed costs are all those things, and variable costs are door people, bar, sound people, and then something I can't see. Anyway, so here's a breakdown of it actually. If you were to actually be like, what are our costs for a show with one bartender, one sound engineer, one door person, and then our venue costs per day, those are the fixed costs. This is what they would be. Like when we don't open our doors, it costs us $490 per day just to sort of sit there. And that is our rent, and that is our insurance, and that is our blah, blah, blah. And then when we have a show, it costs us 100, and these are all estimated, depends on your show and the length and things, but around $100 for a door person, around $60 for a bartender, and then a sound engineer is like $150. So out the gate, we're spending $800 to put on your show. And we want to, and that's why we exist. But if your show, whoever show makes $400 at the bar, and our 30% cut is like $100, then we've lost $300 that night. And I say that just to be transparent. Like, we make more money on weekends. That's why some venues have like karaoke nights or dance party nights or whatever. But this is sort of the thing we're juggling. I hope that's helpful and transparent. And if anyone has any questions about that, holler. We got to talk about the money. Okay. Where do venues make money? The bar, mostly. 70% of sales is profit, hopefully. That's like what we all aim for. And this is such a weeds conversation, so please holler with questions, but also no. This is like business, like things change. People have different ways of doing this. But anyway, 70% of sales is profit, hopefully. And that is taking into account that around 30% is the cost of the liquor, blah, blah, or hopefully the kombucha, whatever you're selling. The door percentage that we get usually can cover, unless they're passed on, like taxes, credit card fees. That also just helps cover the things that the bar doesn't cover. Honestly, people are drinking a lot less. I think it's great. But that means our revenue stream, which I think is such a fucked idea, so we're working on changing that, is also changing too. Where do bands make money? Door, ticket sales, sell all the tickets. And then merch. Merch is such a key part of making money on tour or at any show. And how many times have y'all forgotten to bring your merch? Guilty. I forget to bring my merch all the time when I play a show. But merch is like epic. That's where the dollar's made. If anyone disagrees with me, let me know, or agrees with me. I'd love that too. So that's why I think that merch cuts are ridiculous. Merch cuts are rude. Some venues might have a different way of doing them that makes sense. And if they do, I'd love to know them. But I think if anyone tries to take a percentage of the merch that you've made and are bringing, then that's just not their place. Like, that's your money, speaking to bands. And also, there's so many ways and so many kinds of merch that you can make. This is a whole nother topic. I really want to have a merch collaborative conversation. Rebecca, if you're still here, I'm probably going to pull you into that. Jessa, too. Was that
Becca actually comments, even if a venue says they take a merch cut, I ask if that's negotiable.
That's right. And then you say no.
Boo on merch cuts.
That's right. Any more thumbs down? That's what I'm talking about. Merch is yours. Merch to the people. Seriously, like that. I mean, I screen printed underwear and sold it, you know, you don't get to take a merch cut from that. So yeah, Rebecca brings up a good point. Merch, anything is negotiable. The venue, you might feel lucky to get a show, but the venue's lucky to have you. So literally anything is negotiable. Anything that you don't like, talk to them about it. Okay, so we've done that. I'm gonna keep going and interrupt me with questions, but we're getting on 40 minutes, so I'm just gonna try to move through. But okay, so the ticket types, before you confirm your show, knowing what you're gonna do with your ticket type, because once you confirm, you can do this after confirmation too, but it's just helpful, I think, to have all this in place. Then the venue is gonna announce and set your ticket links up and all these things. So if you're doing a pre-sale, awesome. If you need a passcode for your pre-sale, venues can do that. You're like, I want to do this Bandcamp pre-sale, or I want to give my email list followers or my Patreon followers a week before it goes on sale to the public to buy the best tickets. Those are awesome things to do. They're also promo points. It's sick. You should. Advance and day of tickets. A lot of people do like $2 or $3 less in advance and then day of bump prices. Why? Because people who buy tickets in advance either go to shows or don't care that they missed it because they were tired. And we want to get people to buy tickets. People who buy tickets and don't go to shows are also supporting bands they love, and they generally don't care. And they will not ask for a refund. And that's cool. Like, we're not cheating anybody. They're happy that they bought that ticket. And they're more likely to show up if they buy an advance ticket. I think that's true. And then your day of price, a couple bucks more. And then donations. This is an interesting thing. I think there are a lot of kinds of bands and bands that do well with donations at the door. Depending, and I'm curious if anyone has experience with this, but donations can make a lot of money. And because people want to give you money. We do donations at our Queer Country Night, and we make a couple $100 at the door, where I'm like, if we charged a $10 ticket, I don't think we would. So that's one way to do it. Contracts. Do you need one? I hate contracts. But if you don't know the venue, then yeah, you probably should. A lot of times if you're touring, you can be like, blip, 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 look, you emailed this guy. Or it can be on your like day sheets that you're bringing with you or whatever. But you could. Generally, Pinhook doesn't do them just because we have so many shows and it takes so much. And am I gonna sue you for canceling your show? No, I'm not. So it depends on how big the show is. If you got like a lot of money on the line, like it's like Duke paying you $5,000, then yeah, get one. Actually, always get one from like a university or Duke or a university. Any questions? We good? Wow. We seem good. Okay. Yeah, when do you challenge? You challenge when your deal is set. You've got that deal set. You got your ticket prices confirmed. You know your announce date. When are you going to announce? When is it public, pre-sale, blah, blah. You've coordinated your tour announcement if you have one. A coordinated announcement is dope. That means everybody on the internet is talking about you on exactly at 1 hour. I think that's how the internet works. Once you're confirmed, get gay, release your holds with other venues. This is so cool if you can do this. It's like, hey, we got a show somewhere else. Thank you so much. we're good. That can really help your venue relationship. And it's important, as we've talked about, relationships that's how we do things here. Send your ad mat and promo materials. We'll go over that in the next class, so get up on it. And what happens if anything changes? If your bill changes, NBD. Send new promo material stats, send a new poster. Don't make the venue ask you for anything if the bill changes. It's just really, really helpful. And send it all at once. If your date changes, let the venue know ASAP. This is actually pretty shitty for venues, and also when venues change dates on bands, very, very shitty. Hate when that happens. But just be really communicative. We're done. Thanks y'all for tuning in. Super appreciate the questions. Remember, Rebecca Porter shows June 17th. Let me know if I'm wrong. And then Chessa Rich, who was in here earlier, dope band, check her out. And then our next class, we're going to talk about the promo cycle. I need to fix this slide a little bit, but I think we're going to do it in 2 parts because it's kind of a lot. But that's our next class, Wednesdays at 7 p.m., okay? Live. And then you can catch the rest of these on like the backlog on Patreon and on Substack. You can email us for a show at booking@thepinhook.com. We're doing these office hour series, this school, whatever you call it, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. live. And we're also doing a podcast. Isn't that wild? We've got 3 episodes. The 4th is about to go up. Also on our Patreon, Substack, and right now on Spotify and all these other silly platforms. So check that out. You can support us by joining Patreon. That's really helpful. Really appreciate it. And you'll get all these things. Love y'all. Thanks. See you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Bye.